The world turns a specific shade of red every February. It starts in the grocery store aisles. It starts with the rows of stuffed animals that all look the same. It ends in the forced smiles over overpriced pasta in crowded restaurants. We are told that if we don't participate, we are cynical. We are told that if we don't have a plan, we are lonely. We are told that if we don't spend money, we don't care. But for a few specific members of the Zodiac, this isn't about being lonely or cynical. It is about a fundamental mismatch. It is a mismatch between their soul's code and a commercial holiday. If you have ever felt a sense of dread when you see the first box of chocolate hearts hit the shelves, listen closely. You aren't broken, you aren't a Grinch. You might just be living out the natural traits of your celestial blueprint. Some people think these signs are cold. They think they are hard to love. But the truth is much deeper than that. They actually value love so much that they refuse to see it turned into a cheap performance. They are the guardians of real connection. They live in a world that often settles for the superficial, but they refuse to join in. Before we dive into the specific signs that find this day absolutely unbearable, I want to tell you a secret. It is a secret that most people won't admit to you. The most intense love stories in the Zodiac often happen in the dark. They happen away from the cameras. They happen far away from February 14th. Stay with me until the very end. I have a lot to share with you today. Later on, I'm going to share a specific guide on how to survive if you are one of these signs. It will help you protect your energy. It will help you protect your sanity. And most importantly, it will help you protect your wallet during this high-pressure season. I'm also going to reveal a shadow sign. This is a sign that everyone thinks loves Valentine's Day. They are the poster child for romance, but secretly, they are the biggest haters of them all. You might find your own hidden feelings reflected in that reveal. The psychology of the disconnect. Why do we feel this pressure to perform? For many, Valentine's Day is a test. It is a day where your relationship status is put under a microscope. It is a day of comparison. If you are single, the world asks why. It implies there is something to fix. If you are coupled, the world asks, how much did they spend on you? This external validation is the polar opposite of what certain signs value. Some signs value authenticity. They want the truth, even if it's ugly. Others value efficiency. They don't want to waste time on things that don't work. Some value privacy. They believe that what happens between two people is sacred. When a holiday demands that you sacrifice your privacy for a social media post, these signs push back. When a holiday demands you sacrifice your logic for a greeting card company, they get angry. Think about the atmosphere of a restaurant on February 14th. It is crowded, it is loud, the menu is limited, the prices are doubled. For a logical or sensitive sign, this isn't romantic. It is a nightmare. It feels like a trap. It feels like you are being forced to buy into a version of love that doesn't actually exist. Real love is messy. Real love happens on a Tuesday morning. It happens when someone brings you tea because you're sick. It happens when someone listens to you complain about work for the 100th time. It doesn't happen because a calendar told you to buy a rose. Let's talk about the signs that understand this better than anyone else. 1. Capricorn, the architect of reality. Capricorns are governed by Saturn. Saturn is the planet of boundaries. It is the planet of time and hard work. When you think of a Capricorn, think of a mountain goat. They are climbing steadily toward a summit. They don't have time for distractions. They don't have time for things that don't serve a long-term purpose. For a Capricorn, life is about building a legacy. They are not interested in the fluff, the financial logic. To a Capricorn, Valentine's Day is a mathematical nightmare. They are the accountants of the Zodiac. They see the world through the lens of value. They see a bouquet of roses that cost $20 on February 1st. Then they see those same roses cost $80 on February 14th. To them, buying those roses isn't a sign of love. It is a sign of poor financial planning. They hate the idea of throwing money away. They hate spending on things that will die in 3 days. They would much rather take that $80 and put it into a savings account. They would rather buy a piece of high-quality equipment that will last for a decade. They show love through stability. They show love by making sure the mortgage is paid. They show love by making sure the car is safe to drive. When society tells them they must buy a plastic heart to prove their devotion, the Capricorn feels insulted. They believe that if you love someone, you show it every day. You show it through your actions, not through a credit card swipe once a year. They see the commercialization of love as a distraction from the real work of building a life together. The childhood root. Often, Capricorns grew up early. They had to be the responsible ones in the family. They learned early on that the world doesn't give you things for free. You have to earn what you have. Because of this, they find the whimsical nature of Valentine's Day to be childish. They don't want to play pretend. They don't want a fairy tale. They want a partner who stands by them during a crisis. They want someone who can help them build an empire. The pressure of performance. Capricorns hate being told what to do. They are natural leaders. They are the bosses. If the calendar tells them today is the day to be romantic, they will instinctively want to do the opposite. They find the performative nature of the holiday to be cheap. A Capricorn's love is a slow burn. It's a 30-year contract. It is not a one-night gala. They find the expectation to be mushy on command to be physically uncomfortable. If you are dating a Capricorn, don't expect a poem. Expect a partner who helps you fix your credit score. Expect someone who helps you plan your retirement. That is their version of a Valentine. They aren't cold. They are just focused on the things that actually matter in the long run. 2. Aquarius, the rebel with a cause. If Capricorn hates the holiday because it's impractical, Aquarius hates it because it's mainstream. Aquarius is the sign of the future. They are the eccentric ones. They are the humanitarians. They are ruled by Uranus. Uranus is the planet of sudden change and revolution. They are the people who look at a crowd and decide to go the other way. They do this just to prove a point. The anti-social contract. Aquarius looks at Valentine's Day and sees a giant social experiment. To them, it is an experiment that everyone has failed. They hate the sheep mentality. They hate doing things just because everyone else is doing them. If everyone is going to a candlelit dinner, Aquarius wants to do the opposite. They want to go to a 24-hour diner. They want to stay home and watch a documentary about the ocean. They find the whole concept of traditional romance to be outdated. They find it boring. They are the inventors of the Zodiac. They want to invent their own ways of connecting. They don't want to follow a script written by a corporation. The emotional wall. They are often emotionally detached. This doesn't mean they don't have feelings. It means they process feelings through logic. They process feelings through a filter of independence. The idea of merging with another person in a sappy way feels like a cage to them. They value friendship more than romance. They want a partner they can talk to for 6 hours. They want someone they can debate with. They don't want a partner they have to feed chocolate strawberries to in the dark. The group identity Aquarius is the sign of the collective. They care about humanity. They often find it hard to focus on just one person on a day that feels so exclusionary. They think about all the people who feel lonely. They think about those who are left out. Their humanitarian heart makes them want to boycott the holiday. They do it in solidarity with the rest of the world. The forgotten calendar. It is also very likely that your Aquarius friend simply forgot it was February 14th. Their minds are usually in the future. They are thinking about how to save the planet. They are thinking about a new technology. When they realize the rest of the world is obsessing over dinner reservations, they feel a sense of confusion. They don't want to be part of a tradition that feels forced. If they're going to do something romantic, they want it to be their idea. They want it to be unique. A surprise trip to a stargazing park at 3 a.m.? Yes. A heart-shaped balloon? Absolutely not. 3. Virgo, the critic of excess. Virgos are the perfectionists of the zodiac. They are ruled by Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communication and detail. While others see romance, Virgos see the mess. They see the flaws in the plan. They see the dust on the table. They are the analysts who break everything down. The logistics of disappointment. A Virgo walks into a restaurant on Valentine's Day. They don't see love. They see a kitchen that is overworked. They see servers who are stressed out. They see food that is being rushed out to meet a deadline. To a Virgo, this is a recipe for a bad experience. They hate inefficiency. They hate paying high prices for mediocre service. They would much rather cook a perfect meal at home. They want to know the ingredients are fresh. They want to know the plates are clean. They notice the tiny details that others miss. They notice the slightly wilted flower in the vase. They notice the smudge on the wine glass. They notice the forced tone in the waiter's voice. All of these things ruin the magic for them. Because for a Virgo, magic is found in excellence, not in effort. The frugal heart Virgos are very practical. Like Capricorn, they see the waste. Think about the amount of red plastic produced for one day. Think about the non-recyclable glitter. Think about the dying flowers. A Virgo's soul aches at this wastefulness. They hate the environmental impact. They hate the financial impact. They would much rather you show your love in a useful way. Wash their car, organize the messy pantry, take a difficult task off their to-do list. To a Virgo, a clean house is the ultimate aphrodisiac. An organized life is more romantic than any box of chocolates. They want things that last. They don't want things that end up in the trash by Monday morning. Acts of service for a Virgo, love is in the details. It's in the way you remember how they like their coffee. It's in the way you support their goals. The grand gesture of Valentine's Day feels like a lie. They suspect that people use this one day to make up for being a bad partner the rest of the year. They don't want a Hallmark holiday love. They want a functional, everyday love. If you try to force a Virgo into a stereotypical Valentine's date, they will spend the whole night pointing out the flaws. They aren't being mean, they just genuinely believe things could be better. For Scorpio, the seeker of shadows. This might surprise some people. Scorpio is often associated with passion. They are associated with intensity, but Scorpio is also the sign of depth and mystery. They have an all or nothing mentality. They don't like things that are just for show. They want the truth. They want the raw, unfiltered truth. The hatred of superficiality. Scorpios can smell a fake from a mile away. They have an internal radar for honesty. To them, Valentine's Day feels like a giant mask. They see the forced smiles on the street. They read the scripted cards in the store. They feel a sense of disgust. Scorpios want soul merging. They want life-changing, dark, intense love. They want to know your secrets. They want to know your fears. They want to know your deepest desires. A box of chocolates is an insult to them. It is too small for the depth of their emotions. They find the cutesy side of Valentine's Day to be shallow. If the love isn't raw, they don't want it. And they certainly don't want to celebrate it just because the calendar says so. For a Scorpio, true intimacy is private. It belongs behind closed doors. The idea of displaying their love for the world feels wrong. It feels like a violation of a sacred bond. The overwhelming intensity. Scorpios feel everything 10 times more than the average person. The pressure to prove their love can be too much. It can trigger their anxiety. It can make them pull up their defensive walls. They might become moody. They might withdraw. This is because they feel the collective energy of the world is too loud. They feel it is too fake on this day. They would prefer a quiet night in a dark room. They want to talk about the mysteries of the universe. They don't want to be in a brightly lit restaurant filled with strangers. For a Scorpio, privacy is the ultimate romance. Valentine's Day is the least private day of the year. They are the keepers of secrets. They don't want to shout their feelings from the rooftops. They want to whisper them in the dark. 5, Sagittarius, the archer of freedom. We have to mention Sagittarius. They are the travelers of the Zodiac. They are ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of expansion and freedom. Sagittarius loves to explore. They love to learn, but they hate being tied down. The fear of the cage. Valentine's Day feels like a cage to a Sagittarius. It feels like a day where they are expected to commit to a specific routine. It feels like a day where they have to act settled. A Sagittarius is always looking at the horizon. They want adventure. The idea of sitting at a small table for 2 hours feels like a prison sentence. They hate the seriousness of the holiday. They want to laugh. They want to be spontaneous. If you tell a Sagittarius they have to be at a specific place at 7 p.m. for a romantic dinner, they will immediately want to book a flight to another country. They don't hate love, they just hate the expectations that come with it. They would rather spend Valentine's Day hiking a mountain or exploring a new city than sitting in a room filled with roses. The honesty policy Sagittarius is known for being brutally honest. If they think the holiday is stupid, they will say it. They won't pretend to enjoy the heart-shaped pizza. They won't pretend to like the sappy card. This can cause tension with partners who are more traditional. But for the Archer, truth is more important than harmony. They want a partner who can handle their wild spirit. They don't want a partner who needs a ritual to feel secure. 6, Aries, the pioneer of action. Aries is the first sign of the Zodiac. They are ruled by Mars. Mars is the planet of war and energy. Aries is a fire sign. They are bold. They are brave. They are impulsive. The hatred of the wait. Aries hates waiting. They hate lines. They hate traffic. Valentine's Day is a day of waiting. You wait for a table. You wait for the flowers to be delivered. You wait for the perfect moment. Aries doesn't want to wait. They want to do. They find the softness of Valentine's Day to be a bit boring. They want excitement. They want a challenge. They show love by protecting you. They show love by being your biggest fan. The slow romantic pace of February 14th feels like a drag to them. They would rather go go-karting or do something active. The need for authenticity. Aries is a very what you see is what you get sign. They don't like hidden meanings. They don't like subtle hints. Valentine's Day is full of subtle hints and hidden meanings. It is full of, if you love me, you would know. This drives an Aries crazy. They want you to just say what you want. They find the games of Valentine's Day to be exhausting. They would rather skip the whole thing and just have a normal, fun day. The collective struggle. When we look at these signs, we see a common thread. That thread is resistance to external control. Our modern world is built on schedules. We are told when to work. We are told when to eat, and we are told when to feel certain emotions. But the human heart doesn't work on a schedule. Why should you be extra kind today? Why should you spend money you don't have today? Why should you feel less than if you're eating alone tonight? The stars tell us that variety is important. If everyone loved Valentine's Day, the world would be very boring. It would be too pink. We need the Capricorns to remind us to be practical. We need the Aquarians to remind us to be individuals. We need the Virgos to remind us of quality. And we need the Scorpios to remind us that true love is deep. These signs are the reality check of the Zodiac. They are the ones who look at the Emperor's new clothes and say, he's naked. They look at the red paper hearts and say, this isn't love, this is paper. We need that honesty. We need that grounded energy. Without them, we would get lost in the fantasy. We would forget what real, everyday love looks like. How to survive if you are one of these signs. As I promised at the start, here is your deep dive survival guide. If you are one of these signs, February can feel long. It can feel like you are being judged by everyone around you. Here is how you can navigate this time without losing your mind. For the Capricorn, the strategic pivot. Don't fight the day, just rebrand it. Turn the day into a strategic planning day. If you have a partner, don't do a date. Have a meeting. Discuss your goals for the year. Talk about your finances. Look at your investments together. Show your partner the spreadsheet of your future. To you, this is the highest form of intimacy. It is you saying, I am planning to be with you forever. Don't let the world make you feel cold. Stability is a beautiful gift. If you are single, use the day to organize your own life. Clean your desk. Review your budget. Feel the power of being in control. For the Aquarius, the Rebel celebration. Lean into your alien status. Use Valentine's Day to celebrate universal love, celebrate friendship. Host a non-Valentine's night. Invite your favorite people over for board games or a science fiction movie marathon. Spend the day volunteering, help a local charity. Remind yourself that you don't fit into the box. That is your superpower. Your detachment is actually your perspective. It allows you to see the bigger picture. You don't need a single person to complete you because you are connected to the whole world. For the Virgo, the optimization ritual. Focus on self-optimization. Use the day to do something for your future self. Do a deep clean of your living space. Start a new health routine. Research a topic you've been wanting to learn. If people ask what you're doing for Valentine's, tell them you're investing in your long-term wellness. You don't need to justify your lack of interest in flowers. You know that a clear mind is more romantic than any card. If you are in a relationship, do a chore trade. Do something for your partner that makes their life easier. That is real love. For the Scorpio, the underground retreat. Go underground, turn off your phone, avoid social media. You don't need to see the perfect lives of others. Dive into a book, watch a deep, dark movie. Have a long conversation with one trusted person. Protect your energy. You don't owe the world a display of your feelings. Your intensity is sacred. You get to choose when to reveal it. If you are single, enjoy the silence. If you are coupled, create a bubble where the outside world cannot enter. No phones, no traditions, just the two of you in the dark. For the Sagittarius, the escape plan. If you can, leave town. Go on a mini adventure. Go somewhere you've never been. If you can't leave, go to a part of your city you don't know. Do something that feels unromantic. Go to a rock climbing gym. Go to a noisy arcade. Keep the energy high and the pressure low. If you have a partner, tell them honestly, I love you, but I hate this day. Let's go do something crazy instead. Most people will appreciate the honesty. For the Aries, the competitive edge. Turn the energy into a competition. Go play laser tag, go bowling. Do something that burns off the restless energy. Don't sit still. If you are single, hit the gym hard. Use that Mars energy to build your own strength. Don't let the softness of the day make you feel weak. You are a warrior. Warriors don't need heart-shaped boxes. They need a mission. The hidden truth, the shadow sign. At the beginning of this journey, I promise to reveal the shadow sign. This is the sign that everyone assumes is the king or queen of Valentine's Day. They are the most romantic sign in the world. They are ruled by Venus. Venus is the planet of beauty and love. I am talking about Libra. You might be shocked. You might think, but Libras live for romance. And you are right. They love the idea of love, but here's the secret that Libras won't tell you. Libras often secretly hate Valentine's Day. Why? Because Libra is the sign of balance. They are the sign of justice. Libras spend their whole lives trying to keep everyone happy. They are the ultimate people pleasers. On Valentine's Day, the pressure on a Libra is massive. It is astronomical. They are terrified of picking the wrong gift. They are terrified of their partner being disappointed. They are terrified of looking imperfect to the outside world. They worry about the social media post. They worry about the reservation. They worry about the outfit. For a Libra, Valentine's Day is not a day of love. It is a high-stakes performance. It is a performance where they feel they can only lose. If the dinner isn't perfect, they feel like a failure. If they are single, they feel like the scales of their life are tipped over. They feel unbalanced. Many Libras secretly wish the day would just disappear. They want to go back to loving people on their own terms. They want to love without the weight of expectation. If you are a Libra and you feel a knot in your stomach when February comes, know this. It is just your need for balance, reacting to an imbalanced holiday. You are allowed to stop performing. Reflection and connection. Think about your own life. Have you ever felt that click of annoyance? Have you ever felt the urge to stay in bed and ignore the world? That is your intuition. It is telling you that your love is too big for a single day. It is telling you that you don't need a ritual to prove your worth. I want to hear from you. Which sign are you? Why do you find Valentine's Day exhausting? Or are you one of the shadow Libras who is tired of the pressure? Let's talk about it. Let's create a space where it's okay to be a Valentine's hater. Remember the words of the ancient astrologers. The stars incline, but they do not compel. You are the master of your own heart. Whether it is wrapped in red paper or guarded by a wall of logic, it is yours, and it is enough.